I was supposed to go on a date on Friday and he canceled on me the day before. He said he was going out of town. So I immediately unmatched him. And here's why. Number one, I'm 28, dating with intention, and I have boundaries. Number two, it instantly gave me flaky energy and it was such a turn off. A man is not going to be flaky. No. Number three, I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt just because of how the message was sent. Guys, this man owes me nothing, but if he handled it like this, it would have been a little bit different. If he was like, I'm so sorry something came up and I have to go out of town, but I would love to reschedule. What does your schedule look like next week? I would not have unmatched him. Now, I can't remember exactly what he said because I unmatched him immediately. It was something along the lines of, sorry, I can't tomorrow. I'm actually going out of town, but hopefully we could do this sometime soon. There's no question. There was no, can we reschedule? So I'm like, okay, bye. To me, I'm just not vibing with it anymore. Like there was no directness in rescheduling it. And I'm like, but that's on boundaries, not putting up with flaky men who don't know how to communicate and reschedule something.
So let me get this straight. We have here a 28-year-old woman who is still on dating applications, who is dating with intention. I mean, you know what that means, okay? The clock is ticking. We're looking for a simp. We're looking for a man who's going to completely ignore her past and date her anyway. And of course, what is she doing, guys? She's posting this saga over on TikTok. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. On today's episode, got a couple of ridiculous videos for you here today. We're going to be jumping into the first one. This is a woman who says, you know, she's not too happy because all of her friends keep getting stood up. All right. What is with all of these flaky men? What are the men doing? We're guys. All right. This is what the women are telling us. We are fumbling them. Apparently, we need to put in more effort. Okay. We need to make the dates happen. We need to be more assertive. We need to approach them. You know, maybe we need to get some flowers. All right, I'm done. All right, I'm done being sarcastic. But, you know, this is what the women are trying to advocate that men do. We need to put in more effort, apparently. So let's jump into the video, guys. Let's see what the issue is. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. And we'll jump back into the woman from the intro later on as well if we have time.
If I see one more of my friends go on a date with a man from a dating app, they go on the date, it went really well. He says it's, you know, they have a great connection. She's a great girl, obviously. And then they follow up with, actually, I don't feel a connection. I'm not in the right mental space right now. I just don't know if I have the mental capacity today. And I just want to let you know so I'm not leading you on. Downloading the dating app, matching, asking her on a date, going on the date, following up on the date, all of that is leading her on. Because
oh no, guys. Can you believe that? Men are leading women on. You know, I would feel some sort of empathy here, right? If leading people on wasn't essentially invented by women. I have said this before, guys, right? But when women get treated like the average man, it pisses them off. You know, so many of these women have their pick of the litter for the most part when it comes to dating. But they want the guy who's at the top. They want the guy who has a whole bunch of options and so on. You know the story. Okay? And what happens is the women complain about getting led on by these top tier men that they're chasing. But then they lead on every single average guy that's in their DMs. You know, like women invented leading people on. What do you mean you're now going to complain because men don't want anything serious with you? Because here's what's happening, guys. The men are going on these dates, right? Quote unquote dates. Usually they're just hanging out, right? The women will go meet up with these women. Excuse me, the men will go meet up with these women. They'll have their fun and then they'll bounce. And the reason for that is because a lot of the women are not actually relationship material to a lot of these guys that they're trying to date. Okay, but yes, please tell me more about how women are being led on by these emotionally unavailable men.
and I just want to let you know so I'm not leading you on. Downloading the dating app, matching, asking her on a date, going on the date, following up on the date, all of that is leading her on. Because if you're not in the right mental space to date, why are you on a dating app?
I mean, the answer is obvious, you would think. You know, this is me just answering her question directly. The reason why the men are on these applications, particularly the guys who have a lot of options, is because they're looking for a bit of fun. Now, I would think that this is fairly damn obvious. Okay, a lot of these dating apps are just they're essentially just being used as hookup sites, right? I thought this was fairly obvious. Maybe it's not. I don't know why it seems to go over these women's heads. But again, you know, they complain about this, But in reality, they have tons of options. But they don't want to date average men, guys. Average men are invisible. Average men are dirt, right? We've all heard it before.
You're wasting everybody's time, including your own. And these men that do it for like the attention or the validation, you all are not shit. Obviously. You don't even like yourself enough to date somebody that you have a good connection with.
Well, I mean, clearly, the men didn't have a good connection. They didn't feel a connection with you or your quote-unquote friends. You know? What did she say here? Like, what she tries to insinuate that men don't like themselves because they refuse to date modern women? What kind of logic is that? Oh, you're just doing it for attention. No, a lot of these guys are just having their fun and then leaving, not for attention or validation. They just want some bedroom fun and that's it. Oh, you don't like yourself. That's why you won't that's why you won't take these women seriously. Do you ever consider it's actually maybe because the men like their own peace? They don't want to invite a lot of these women into their lives who would actually make their lives more difficult. Like, these women don't understand that the majority of them, if you were to invite them into your life, would actually make it more difficult. You know, they would introduce problems. They would introduce headaches, okay? You know, everything becomes an issue. Now there's arguments. A lot of guys would, to be honest with you, they would rather go to their 9 to 5 and play video games at night rather than deal with women like this. That's what they would rather do. They would literally rather play video games. Okay? And I don't blame men for that whatsoever, man. Like, you take a look at a lot of these women, especially the ones over on TikTok, it's like, oh, hell no, I'm not dealing with that. Somebody else can deal with that, all right? Maybe you can go find some emotionally available man to deal with that. Hell no.
You don't even like yourself enough to date somebody that you have a good connection with. I'm going to take all of those men and put them in a cage, and then I'm going to put them in a deep, dark basement. I'm going to force them all into group therapy to try and figure out what their parents did to them to make them so emotionally unavailable.
Yes, guys, because if a man doesn't want to commit, okay, to a modern woman, that means there's something fundamentally wrong with them, and we need therapy, apparently. Do you see how the shaming works, right? Like, if you're a guy and you don't want to do something, you don't want to take a woman seriously, you don't want to have a relationship with her, you don't want to marry her, you don't want to make her your girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, okay? These women assume that there is mentally something wrong with you and you need to go to therapy. First of all, this woman would never be able to put me in a cage. Like, well, I love how women make videos like this, guys, and they're like, yeah, I'd square up to a man. I would put him in a cage. You would not be able to move me an inch, madam. Okay? Like, these women are so delusional. I don't know who's telling these women that they have even the I understand she's, you know, making a bit of a joke here, but like, you do not have the physical capability of putting men in a cage. You just don't. Okay, probably not even some 13-year-old, kid. You wouldn't be able to put him in a cage. But in any case, guys, you know, all the men, we're just emotionally unavailable. We need to work on ourselves. We need to go to group therapy. Goodness me, man. Goodness me.
Try to figure out what their parents did to them to make them so emotionally unavailable that they can't go on a second, third date without thinking, it's marriage, I've got to get out now. And that's not me invalidating mental health, because that's completely fine if you have mental health issues. Then don't be on a dating app.
Whoa, wait a minute. So are you suggesting that people with mental health issues shouldn't be on dating applications? Can you imagine how much less women would be on dating applications if that were the rule? My goodness, guys, like, most women just wouldn't be on dating applications. They wouldn't be allowed if that were the case. That's crazy. All right, so here's the thing. First of all, it's actually a favor that these men are doing for you. Like, if a man is done with you after the first date because he doesn't see himself marrying you, that's probably a good thing, by the way. You know, if you're a woman looking for commitment and the dude bounces very early on, he doesn't want to take you seriously, that's probably a good thing, especially if you haven't given your body to him already. Okay, like, what? Do you want the man to keep dating you even though he doesn't see a serious future with you? And again, this is coming from someone, guys, I don't think marriage is a good idea for men at all. But you would think, from the women's perspective, it's a good thing if the men decide, hey, you know, I don't see anything serious here, so I'm going to bounce. I think that's actually the mature thing to do. To say, this woman isn't for me, I'm leaving. I'm out, right? And you would think that the women would be happy about this because they can go find a man who would actually take them seriously. You know, that guy says you weren't for him. Everyone parts ways. We're all good. But of course, that's not the case. And the reason why typically these women are so pissed about it is because usually they hook up with these men before they have commitment. That's where the women get really mad, you see, because they're hooking up with these guys and then they cry and complain that they're not getting second and third dates and so on. You see?
Without thinking, it's marriage, I've got to get out now. And that's not me invalidating mental health, because that's completely fine if you have mental health issues. Then don't be on a dating app. If you're not in the mental space to date, don't be on a dating app. It's not hard.
Man, that is hilarious. All right, let's go back to this other clip that we played in the intro. Man, these women are getting more and more ridiculous by the day. I forgot how bad directly covering these videos was. Okay, let's jump back into this woman. We'll try and keep this one quick. This was the woman that we played during the intro. This is the 28-year-old woman who is now dating with purpose. What is this caption up here? Bailed on the date, so I pieced. All right, let's jump into this one.
I was supposed to go on a date on Friday, and he canceled on me the day before. He said he was going out of town. So I immediately unmatched him, and here's why. Number one, I'm 28, dating with intention, and I have boundaries.
I love how women get to, you know, nearly 30, and then they start talking about dating with intention. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm done with hooking up with all of these random men before, okay, in my early 20s, but now I'm looking for the good man, right? Now I'm looking for the guy who's going to ignore my past, who's going to marry me anyway, even though it's a completely bad deal for the man. Insane.
Number two, it instantly gave me flaky energy, and it was such a turnoff. A man is not going to be flaky. No. Number three, I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt just because of how the message was sent. You guys, this man owes me nothing, but if he handled it like this, it would have been a little bit different. If he was like, I'm so sorry, something came up and I have to go out of town, but I would love to reschedule. What does your schedule look like next week?
I don't think this man cares enough to do that, which I'm pretty sure she goes on to say. A lot of these men who these women are matching with, they don't care. They don't care that you unblocked them, or unfollowed them or blocked them or whatever. These guys weren't interested in taking you seriously anyway, hence their flakiness. Okay, and here's the thing, guys. I actually, if this was women's dating strategy the entire time, I would actually respect it. You know, like if they had these boundaries the entire time, you know, all throughout their dating lives, since they're 18 or whatever, then I could actually respect that. But women don't do that. Women start to implement boundaries and looking for the good man once they're running out of time to have kids, okay? They'll hook up with the flaky guys. They'll hook up with the guys who treat them like trash. They'll hook up with any man who they really find highly attractive, okay? But now they'll have boundaries for the average man. They didn't have boundaries the entire time, but now they're setting up boundaries for the man who's supposed to, you know, do all this crap for them. And mind you, these women will still hook up with the attractive men anyway. So what they do, guys, is they have rules for the average men, but the men who are highly attractive, they don't have rules for. And again, I would respect it if women actually had these boundaries, but it's fake. It's not actually real. It's not authentic whatsoever. And the women do this because they're trying to manipulate men and try and essentially scam men. You know, this is like a used car salesman not telling you there's 50,000 things wrong with the car they're trying to sell you, and they're overvaluing it. It's kind of very similar to that, in my opinion.
I would not have unmatched him. I can't remember exactly what he said because I unmatched him immediately. It was something along the lines of, sorry, I can't tomorrow. I'm actually going out of town, but hopefully we could do this sometime soon. There's no question. There was no, can we reschedule? So I'm like, okay, bye. To me, I'm just not vibing with it anymore. Like there was no directness in rescheduling it. And I'm like, but that's on boundaries. Not putting up with flaky men who don't know how to communicate and reschedule something.
I'm sorry, guys, but like this woman's attitude is just intolerable to me. The way she, you know, pronounces things and her body language here comes across incredibly entitled. And again, this is why the men don't want to date these women. This is why they don't care, right? This is why they flake. This is why they do all that crap, is because they're not together all interested. And just, you know, on this woman's particular video here, this woman is not a high quality woman. Like, to put it in perspective, okay, you guys are seeing this woman's face on the screen right now. I actually can't move the image up, the video of her, because she's not wearing enough clothes, in my opinion, for YouTube to be happy about it. Like, I can't even show you the video. Like, this is a woman who's saying that she's 28, She's dating with intention. She has boundaries now, and she can't even dress herself properly to the extent that I can show you on YouTube. So, of course, the men are not going to be taking you very seriously. It's ridiculous. We're going to be leaving it there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.